Hello, what's up, guys? I am Mr. Stark, and today I will show you a movie synopsis named This Is Not What I Expected, movie of 2007. So let's get started.
Toward the start of the film, we are acquainted with a rich financial specialist named Jin. He possesses a few organizations, the greater part of which are eateries. Jin is a culinary craftsmanship fan and is extremely specific about the food sold in his eateries. He goes through hours tasting dishes served by well-known gourmet specialists to make them great. As the years progressed, he has fostered an exceptional ability where he can determine what lies under the surface for fixing a dish by simply smelling it. At some point, Shengnan goes to a 5-star inn that he is hoping to purchase. The main dish he is served is the popular meat Wellington, which is a specialty of the head culinary expert. Jin gives a chomp and spits it a shot, saying that the kind of mushroom utilized in the dish is off base. Likewise, he served a plenty of various dishes, which are all the cook's exceptional. Nonetheless, every one of them has one downside or the other that disappoints him. Before an hour's over, the head gourmet specialist runs out of thoughts and feels defenseless. The staff additionally have no idea how to dazzle somebody as particular as Jin. This is the point at which we are acquainted with a youthful cook named Shengnan. Despite the fact that she is only an assistant, her insight into overall culinary styles is flawless, and she is destined to be advanced due to her ability. Despite the fact that they just have 20 minutes left before Jin leaves, Shengnan takes the test to make him something he loves. None of the staff individuals figure she can pull it off, yet just following 20 minutes, Jin has another dish on his table. At the point when he smells the principal whiff of the food, his eyes open wide. He remembers it as the unique Romani dish named spaghetti alla strega. Jin might in fact tell that the cook is a lady in light of the fact that the dish is passed down to females of Romani beginning. The flavors should be painstakingly estimated in light of the fact that a conventional dish permits no private twist on it. Shengnan has made it precisely the way things should be, which acquires Jin's appreciation. He cleans the plate dry and chooses to remain at the inn for a couple of days to taste a greater amount of her dishes. The chief educates Shengnan concerning Jin's remark, causing her to understand that he has an immense information on food. She accepts it as a test and is prepared to take his breath away with her cooking. Shengnan is additionally dating the eatery's head supervisor. He exploits her situation and makes her cook nourishment for him, even when she is occupied. One evening, in the wake of getting a charge out of all that she made for him, he uncovers that he needs to separate since she is excessively thin for his loving. Shengnan is devastated, yet she realizes it is a waste of time to contend. Soon thereafter, Jin is on out when he sees her sitting on his vehicle's hood. He doesn't perceive her as the culinary expert since he never saw her face. Shengnan thinks the vehicle has a place with her ex and scratches it to show him a thing or two. At the point when Jin gets down on her, she understands she came to some unacceptable floor. She rapidly apologizes and vows to paint it new. Around evening time, Shengnan becomes inebriated and hops on the rooftop. Simultaneously, Jin is making ramen in his room. He accepts that even the 2-minute noodle is a troublesome dish to make since one needs to unequivocally gauge the fixings and time. Right when he is going to take a nibble, somebody falls on his gallery. As a matter of fact, an alcoholic Shengnan has tumbled from the rooftop. At the point when she will not go out, Jin places her into a bag and keeps her inside the lift. She is found by 2 staff individuals who go into a craze, expecting that she is a dead body. In the accompanying scene, Jin is locked inside a cell with different hoodlums. Shengnan is outside making sense of what has been going on with the police officer. Some time later, Jin's colleague shows up and rescues him. Jin desires to at no point ever meet Shengnan in the future, however they run into each other the exceptionally following day. Shengnan is helping a few children when she incidentally contacts a colony of bees. The honeybees assault Jin, making his face expand. Having had enough of her, he gives her a watch that will caution her in the event that she is close to him. Shengnan vows to take off when she hears the alert. Beginning the following day, Jin orders a few dishes to test the cook's ability. Shengnan dazzles him with each and every dish except Jin is as yet ignorant that she is a similar young lady he needs to avoid. With time, he begins requesting food that isn't even on the menu. Shengnan works till 12 p.m. and is extremely drained, however Jin doesn't give indications of weariness. Consequently, she puts squid ink on one of the dishes, it is taking off to represent that she. Jin comprehends the message and quits requesting nourishment for the evening. He likewise sends her a letter requesting that she be a decent rival as opposed to taking off. The next day, Jin needs to show up in a meeting. The questioner asks him inquiries about the bag embarrassment, making him self-conscious. Simultaneously, Shengnan figures out the fastidious client is, as a matter of fact, similar person who she needs to avoid. Terrified that her watch will ring, she attempts to run yet falls into the pool. For the following dinner, Jin needs Shengnan to exhibit her innovativeness. Rather than the name of the dishes, he sends her 3 subjects that she is allowed to decipher any way she loves. The subjects are a period, a spot, and a second. For the principal topic, Shengnan makes very zesty fish, demonstrating mid-year. Jin struggles with eating anything hot, however is glad that she nailed the subject. The subsequent one is the spot. In this dish, Jin can smell rosemary, which helps him to remember a beacon by the ocean. He understands it as a portrayal of Shanghai. Then, at that point, for the last dish, she makes pork with matcha, preparing that Jin partners with the Japanese tea function. He is past dazzled by Shengnan's ability, while Shengnan is intrigued that he could find out precisely exact thing she was attempting to depict with each dish. For the pastry, she demands she makes a unique dish. It is a sweet cake made of up fixings that are ordinarily from the US, Canada, and the UK. These are the 3 spots Jin has lived in throughout the long term, so he comprehends that it addresses him. Nonetheless, there is a truffle as an afterthought that overwhelms him. He requests that the server bring the gourmet expert so she can make sense of its significance actually. Hesitant to confront him, Shengnan sends the head culinary expert outside with her message. He uncovers that the truffle develops underground and eats everything around it to keep up with its power. Shengnan accepts Jin resembles a truffle, which is the reason she made it. Jin won't trust the head culinary specialist and goes searching for Shengnan, however she takes off before he views as her. Some time later, they catch each other in the washroom. Jin smells the fragrance of food from her and perceives her as the gourmet expert who has been feeding him. The next day at work, he switches off his watch and finds her cooking in the cafe's kitchen. Shengnan needs to hesitantly concede that she is his gourmet expert. She likewise avows that the truffle was to represent his pomposity. Jin gives it an idea and gestures of recognition her for understanding him better than himself. Afterward, he is in his room when he gets a call from his dad, Mr. Liu. The man is so business situated that he much of the time neglects to be a dad to Jin. Liu urges him to get back to function as he has invested a ton of energy in a solitary inn. Next morning, Jin calls the room administration to arrange the primary feast of the day. Be that as it may, he is informed Shengnan is on debilitated leave. Not having any desire to eat food prepared by any other person, he goes to her loft. He has even brought every one of the essential fixings so she can make his desired dish her too. Her house is muddled, yet Jin cleans up and sets himself a table while she cooks. Shengnan is still weirded out by his appearance, however she plunks down with him to eat. Shockingly, he requests that she eat in the kitchen, since he leaned towards eating alone. She reviles him for being pompous prior to doing as told. At the point when she comes out some time later, she finds Jin sleeping on her love seat. He struggles with nodding off elsewhere, however for reasons unknown, her lounge chair is entirely agreeable. Jin gets up hours after the fact and finds Shengnan dozing on her bed. Once more, the following day, he returns and makes her cook an alternate dish. Subsequent to eating, he nods off once more. On the 3rd day, he accompanies a sheet to cover the sofa to make it more agreeable. As days pass, he begins bringing night robe and his own possessions. This time, Shengnan can scarcely nod off due to his wheezing and struggles at work as a result of it. One evening, Shengnan permits her to eat with him, and they two partake in a long feast together. They additionally eat blowfish, interestingly, ignorant that it makes individuals high. Before long, the two feel its belongings and fantasize that it is pouring. They stay under an umbrella in any event, when inside and discuss a few things that have neither rhyme nor reason. Some time later, they go out for a walk, actually feeling that it is pouring when the weather conditions is totally dry. Then, they end up inside a transport where Jin's high wears off. He understands that individuals are taking a gander at him and requests that Shengnan put the umbrella down. She doesn't pay attention to him, actually impacted by the high. Before the night's over, Jin gets her home and tucks her. Sliced at 2 days after the fact. Shengnan hasn't seen him since they last ate together. He has likewise settled up with the lodging which concerns her. Choosing to determine the status of him, she shows up at his home. Incredibly, he is partaking in a feast made by his own culinary expert of 7 years. The ladies in a flash see each other as opponents and attempt to demonstrate that they are mean a lot to Jin. Eventually, a goaded Shengnan stomps off out of frustration. The following day, the other gourmet specialist comes to meet Shengnan at work and requests that she be an associate culinary expert for Jin. Shengnan rejects, requesting that she disappear. Around evening time, Jin comes to her loft to apologize, yet drives away without a second to spare. He has never felt near anybody in his life other than Shengnan, which is the reason he is frightened of losing her. However, he doesn't comprehend that it is love and pulls away. Then, at that point, he goes to the eatery the following day and terminates all the kitchen workers. He has chosen to purchase the lodging, however, since it doesn't satisfy their standard administration-wise, their organization has chosen to involve it for something different. Jin attempts to converse with Shengnan, however she would rather not pay attention to a word he needs to say. During supper, Jin requests that his gourmet specialist go along with him. She is astounded in light of the fact that throughout the span of 7 years, he has never requested that she eat. She uncovers that she just made one part like she generally does. After she leaves, Jin receives a message from her colloquialism that she can't be in excess of an individual culinary specialist to him. Jin needs to get a trip in a couple of hours. He needs to see Shengnan prior to leaving, yet rules against it. In the accompanying scene, he is with his dad, who is frustrated in him for allowing his own advantages to hinder business. They have a feast together, and Jin asks Mr. Liu in the event that he has at any point been enamored with somebody. His dad answers that he doesn't enjoy whatever doesn't uphold his business. As of now, Jin registers he would rather not resemble his dad. He takes the following trip to Shanghai to meet Shengnan once more. In the interim, she is going to sell the watch he gave her some time in the past. Unexpectedly, it begins to ring, demonstrating his presence. Shengnan sees him on the opposite roadside and rapidly takes a taxi. She would rather not face him or converse with him. Jin, then again, is obstinate. He follows the taxi behind and winds up in a packed market. After taking the watch's sign, he tracks down Shengnan's canine with it. Then, the canine carries him to a spot where Shengnan has locked herself inside. She will not converse with him, yet her web arouses when he specifies that she is the main companion he has had throughout everyday life. He admits his adoration and requests that she come outside. Shengnan even makes him say that she is the hottest individual on the planet. After the cooperation, they go to her apartment complex, however Jin carries her to an alternate condo since it has a superior perspective on the sky. The film closes as they watch the nightfall together. Buy in for additional recordings like this, turn on the notice, and pass on a like to take care of the feed. Much obliged to you for watching.